Hello, this is Michael Paul with the New Orleans Scottish Rite College. We often hear talk about the need to better guard the Westgate. We look at some who have joined us and know in our hearts that they should never have been allowed to join. But if someone asks for a petition, how do we not give it to them? Do we just say no? Is that something easier said than done? Let's look at this situation. Now at the beginning, let's get a couple of things out of the way. And let me be blunt. In no way, shape, or form am I talking about how to successfully be a bigot and keep a deserving petitioner out of Freemasonry for unworthy reasons. And you know what I'm talking about. This video will deal with the situation of fairly guarding the Westgate from the unworthy or those who are not suited for Freemasonry. And I will explain what I mean by those not suited for Freemasonry shortly. Another point, and it's one that I must make, is that this video is my opinion. I'm not stating the Masonic law of any particular jurisdiction. It is true that some Grand Lodges find it acceptable to advertise for new members. I've seen billboard ads in some jurisdictions trying to bring in new members. I also well remember a lodge that once offered a new television set to whoever brought in the most petitions during a year. I've seen other prizes given as well. How does this sort of activity balance against the very clear statement that we ought to guard the Westgate against the unworthy? Do we guard the Westgate unless we start dropping in membership? If we drop in membership, do we then take any and all who have the funds to join? I view Masonic initiation as a means to opening metaphysical doors inside us that will allow those ready to grow and develop in spirit. In our writings, we so often read that our goal is to make good men better, but I believe that the intent was that our desire is to make good men who are already better. In no way do I accept that the original intention was that those who join Masonry are good men and any who are not a proper fit for Masonry are less than good. Yes, there are morally unfit men who should never be allowed inside our doors, but the unsuitable are not only those who are morally unfit. For example, a morally upright man whose wife or family are strongly opposed to his joining Freemasonry would not be a suitable candidate. Simply put, Masonry has no desire to be the reason for any upset in anyone's family. But this is only one of many situations where a morally fit man would not be considered a proper fit for Masonry. Let's look at Freemasonry and imagine that it were a music school. We teach music to those who want to learn music and have the skill to do so. Yes, this music school has a rule that it will not take troublemakers as students. If one's goal is to come in, be disruptive, steal things, break instruments, or act in any way problematic, then they will not be allowed to be in the school. But we should not believe that these are the only ones unsuitable for this school. Simply put, not every good person has the ability to be a musician. Not everyone has the ability to be a good football player, or on and on. We all have certain abilities, and do not all have the same abilities. Freemasonry was designed to assist those on a certain spiritual quest of self-improvement. Many who are excellent human beings are simply not on that quest. If we take that quest for spiritual improvement out of Freemasonry, or bring in those not on this quest, then we end up with Freemasonry as a social club. That's the problem we are now facing. But how do you deny someone a petition without insulting them? Well, I believe that it is something that is perfect for a lodge discussion. Everyone should be on the same page. It is not something that can be put into any sort of manual, as there are too many different scenarios. But I believe that the lodge should discuss the basic concept of petitions and how they should be handled. Some secretaries hand out petitions to members like they're candy. I heard one say that each member should have at least a half a dozen with him always, as you never know when someone will ask to join. I disagree with that idea. That's the club mentality of take one and all. If it's a numbers game, then we are on the wrong path. I believe that members should not have petitions with them and should have to ask to get one from the secretary if they feel someone acceptable asks them. In too many cases, the idea is that the petition is just a formality. It's felt that the investigation committee should be responsible to determine if the petitioner is worthy or not. Too many times the one signing the petition does not even know the name of the petitioner. Let's not forget that anyone who signs a petition is making the very clear statement to the lodge that the petitioner is well known to them. If that's not true, what does it say about the one signing the petition? Be honest with the one who asks for a petition. If you don't know him well, tell him that you need to know him a little better before you are allowed to submit a petition. If this is the rule of the lodge, then it's true. So make it a rule. Have coffee with him. Get to know him. Tell him that Freemasonry, regardless of what he might have heard or read, is not a club, but an initiatic order that is designed to help those on their spiritual path of self-improvement. Those who have not committed themselves to this sort of path will find very little interest in the heart of Freemasonry, and those who have not committed themselves to this path might well rethink any desire to petition, as they may not be accepted. Explain about the investigation committee and the need for the lodge to ballot on his petition. Do not make it seem that all one needs to do is ask to join and all the doors will be open for them. If after you have gotten to know him better, assuming that you didn't know him that well before, and you are satisfied, then he may make a good Mason. Get him a petition from the secretary. If you are not sure about him, then tell him that you will get him a petition from the secretary, but delay. Make him wait and see if he asks about it. If he cares, he will wait and he will ask again and again. If you have no obvious reasons why he should not be admitted, and he has asked several times and is aware of the nature of Freemasonry, then ask your secretary for a petition. You can never fully know what's in the heart of someone, but if you know someone reasonably well, you have no reason to deny him, have explained what Masonry is and is not, then I would sign such a petition. If your jurisdiction requires a second signature on the petition, then the second signer should know him as well as you do. Asking for a second signature from someone in the lodge on the night of the submitting the petition is, in my opinion, highly improper, as both need to well know the petitioner. If you know or learn of a legitimate problem that will keep him from a clear ballot, tell him. If it's a technical problem such as residency or some like issue, tell him before accepting a petition so that he may be able to clear it up. If you find any issue that turns out to be a moral issue, I advise that you avoid telling him specifics. Simply tell him that there is a problem and you do not believe that the petition will pass the ballot. Explain that you do not know all the details, and really you never do. But it would be wiser if you did not submit the petition for him at this time, as if it were rejected, it would remain on his record. Be vague but firm in not accepting it. Most who have moral issues will know and not push the issue. Two things are most important to remember about petitions. First, you must put the best interest of the lodge and Freemasonry as a whole first. As long as your actions are Masonic, do what your heart tells you. Second, no two situations will be the same. Just like people, situations are always different, and there is no one-size-fits-all answer for any situation. Keep your eyes open and your heart in Masonry, and follow your good judgment. This is not a numbers game. I don't care what anyone says. More is not better in Freemasonry. I mean it. We need quality, not quantity. Thank you for watching. If you like the videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to us. Your comments are very appreciated. See you next time.